Hello, Kansas and Western fans. This is episode 12 of the construction of the Kansas and Western HO scale railroad. I'm going to mix up the presentation a little bit here. Now that I've got 3 levels under construction, I'm going to go into a more linear fashion. First, we'll do an overview of the room to see what everything looks like. I'll move down here to the legs so you can see that. But then we're going to do linear from the bottom up to follow what could be a mainline train. But that's the overview of the entire room. And starting at the beginning, you can see I've got this west helix well underway. I've already got all the subroadbed pieces, the curved pieces of plywood you see there cut, so it's just a matter of assembly at this point. Should have this done in time for the next video, give or take holiday commitments, but it's going fast. You can see that the interior is a little bit wider here than this one was. It's all covered now, but because this one was a double track to begin with, this one's single track to begin with, so I was able to give myself a little more room on the inside to work if I ever need to get in there. And then the legs go all the way to the top, because as you can see there's going to be a beam that will attach the helix, because I'm going to have a topper on that. But anyway, back to the bottom. Got that started. I've got my switch machines preliminarily wired, and these are all my blocks for risers for that. Got all this track soldered now. All the connections have been tested. That's all good. Moving around, plywood collection. And then this is where I've left off at the middle level. This will be the Canon City area with a train station, maybe a couple of industries. But more importantly will be this cement plant. And it may project out here a little bit. I want to make sure I finish this helix first before I use up a whole lot more space. But generally, that's what that's going to be. And I've laid out a bunch of these structure kits in the general vicinity of where they're going to be, just so I have a reminder of what I'm going to be using where. And moving around, this section you won't really see. I'll probably put some kind of a backdrop that'll divide it so you can't see the curve go around. It'll be covered on the top by the upper level anyway, so I'm not going to use a tunnel because there's no tunnels between Canon City and Pueblo, so just be hidden so you can't see the curve around. And then this whole long section here will be Pueblo. I was going to do the steel plant that's on the southeast edge of town, but Walters doesn't apparently have those kits anymore, so I'm going to do a series of smaller industries yet. I haven't really purchased any of those yet, and that's why it's empty. But plenty of room here to do at least 3 or 4, some justice. And as you can see, it's starting to get dark because I've already added the upper level here, but we'll get back to that in a second. I do have more LED lighting kits. I just haven't gotten them installed yet. And then coming around here, this is the west end of La Junta Yard. I've laid out the track for the most part. Still haven't confirmed the final yard design, but as you can see, it's just a typical ladder style. This end will be a stub end yard, because I don't want to carry the switch lead all the way into Pueblo, since they're supposed to be obviously multiple miles apart. So I'm just going to have a switch lead here for a locomotive consist, so it can get off its train and then come back in here to what will be a engine service facility right in this area. And then moving down, I have laid some cork back there for the main line because I'm certain that's where I want it to run. So I am working on the main line. I've got the main line installed right up to that outer turnout point, and then I have to work on this crossover here before I start gluing any more track. I haven't been gluing any of my turnouts. I saw this recommended by other videos. In case you have any turnout issues, they're easy to remove, so I just glue the track on either end of it, which is plenty to secure it. That way, if I ever need to remove it, I can just slide the rail joiners out of place and lift it right out. But haven't had any issues yet, so I'm not too worried about that yet. And then this will be the switch lead for La Junta. It's not going to be that long because it's going to carry over into Lamar. So whoever switches this yard is going to have to do some calculating as to how many cars they can pull out of whatever track, so they don't exceed the limit for the switch lead. Moving on, again, this will be the area for something like that. Not a high bridge or anything like that. It's just kind of a low river area, so we're working on that. Moving around into Lamar. This will be Lamar train station, which there's a photo of it right there. That's what it looks like. And I've got an old Santa Fe Prairie type locomotive on order for a display job. That'll be probably sitting right here next to it. And I just have these 2 initial tracks for Lamar because I'm having to do a serious amount of kit bashing. As you can see, these are all the kits I have arrayed to pull from in order to generate something similar to this, which is an oilseed refinery. I think they have multiple types: sunflower seed, soybean oil, whatever. But as you can see, there's all kinds of elevators, multiple different types of silos, and so on and so forth. So I've just been struggling trying to figure out what I'm going to do to try to to basically build that. So I have just all kinds of different silos, elevators, so on and so forth. And I think I have a plan in mind. We'll see if I can get something started here by the next video. But these tracks, the main line and this initial siding, these are all working, got them all wired up. Moving around the corner, I have decided to put a backdrop here to kind of separate the holly area from Lamar, just so that when you are viewing one area, and I'm big into this, I'm big into viewpoints. It appears that I like doing these videos, especially the operation videos, even though I haven't done many, and I want to continue to do those from different viewpoints of areas, of locations. And I don't want to track around and then see this curve follows around and then you're smack right into Lamar already when these are like 25 miles apart. So I'm going to start using backdrops in these curves to kind of just separate the scene. We'll see how it works out, but that's the plan anyway. Moving into holly, haven't done much here right now. This is my storage area for trains that I'm running. So I'm super excited to get La Junta Yard started, so I have a place to put those. And I have added a few more details to the holly grain elevator. If you've seen holly on Google Earth, there are multiple buildings, old elevators, newer additions. So I do plan to add more to this area, but I'm trying to do a little bit at each location, which kind of mirrors what I'm doing with these videos now, is trying to do a little bit with each location, just to show improvement everywhere. It'll make the videos a little more interesting and varies up my workload a little bit. And then obviously you have the helix, which is finished. Moving up here, we're on the Kansas level now. This is going to be the Holcomb Power Plant, which is just west of Garden City. I wasn't sure if this would work out. It took a little bit of doing, but I think I have a plan here in mind. The track's just going to have to elevate a little bit to reach this level because this part still had to clear the helix track. So a little bit of a difference here in elevation I'm going to have to resolve, but it shouldn't be too bad. But have a big power plant, place where coal will be dumped and then dumped into piles, and then a backdrop. May just have a photo of the power plant there, I'm not sure yet. Moving over here, this will be a representation of Garden City. There's not a lot of room, just like there isn't for holly below, so it may just be 1 or 2. I haven't quite decided yet, but that's the intent anyway. Moving around the corner, and again, we'll do some kind of a backdrop separation so you can't just look right down here to see another area. But I've decided this is going to be representative of that Highway 50 trip through southwest Kansas, where there just isn't hardly anything besides just a single track. I may inject the highway here right on the aisle side. I haven't decided yet. But the one thing that is representative of that trip is usually when you're in one small town, you can see the grain elevator for the next small town. So that's what I'm going to do here. This is going to be the Charleston elevator, which is east of Garden City, and it's actually the Garden City Co-op. But this is what I'm going to build here. I'm not going to build probably this section here because this is perpendicular to the track. It's probably going to be more this section because I'm going to have room for a couple tracks here. But that's just a photo of the Charleston elevator, so I'm going to see what I can do there. I've got a couple of the typical Walthers kits that I'm going to kit bash to make look something like that. But basically just a long straightaway here with maybe 1 or 2 sidings, give or take how big those kits end up becoming. And then moving around, be some kind of scene separation here. I haven't decided yet. I probably will do another Arkansas River. We call it the Arkansas and Kansas River crossing here. And then this section here, all the way down there, will be representative of multiple Wichita industries. Wichita is a pretty good sized city. I didn't want to do just a yard. It's where I live, so there's all kinds of multiple types of industries that I'll be putting in here. Main line go through, maybe 2 or 3 yard tracks, and then just multiple spurs for all kinds of different things. Haven't gotten any of the kits for that yet, but you'll see those added as these videos progress. And then moving around, I was super excited to get this section done because this is going to be basically the centerpiece of the whole layout, which is the Wichita Rail Yard right along 135 on the north end of town. Because this has inspired me to do a lot of this. I drive by it all the time. There's a huge grain elevator right down the middle, which is no longer in service, but I'm going to represent it here. Probably do like a PVC build from scratch, scratch build, that's what I was looking for. Right down the middle of this, but this whole 4x8 sheet of plywood is going to be Wichita Rail Yard. And then I just have a single kit there for an engine house, what'll be on the other side, engine service facility. But it's actually 2 yards that are split down the middle. A person I've worked with who used to work for the railroad, it's a UP owned area, but they call this west side the Katy Yard, and then the east side the Mop Yard for Missouri Pacific, because that's who used to own those yards. So it'll actually be 2 yards split down the middle. They will be interconnected, so you can move between the yards somewhere in here, but it'll definitely require 2 operators, 1 for each side. And then this will continue to project out towards the end of the room, another almost full 4x8 sheet to cover this area, and then it'll come down to a thin little pencil basically that'll end right about here. So from this perspective, from here all the way to the wall will be rail yard. So I'm super excited about that. It'd be a ton of track and lots of trains, but I can't wait to get it going. And then just from this perspective, Wichita Rail Yard will exit going around the room there towards Towanda, and then along this wall will be El Dorado with its big refinery here on top, a few smaller industries along the wall, and then along this wall will be the Union Tank Car Company, where they refurbish and repair tank cars of all kinds, just on a little shelf above that ledge. And then I'll have to figure out how to do a removable section in front of the window and another removable section in front of the junction box. But that's all I have for now. Everything's going well. I appreciate all the comments and all the questions, and thanks for watching.